In this episode, we explore the NVAA Honors Program. From the Heart of Paradise, I'm Matt.
And I'm Sarah. And of course, joining us in studio as always is our amazing team helping us produce the show.
Exciting episode today. We're talking about one of the many journeys of excellence here in PVSchools, a really cool one. It kind of spans 3 different schools as well, the overall program. We've got it at Desert Cove, Shea Middle School, and Shadow Mountain High School. Of course, we're talking about NVAA.
Yep, what stands for the North Valley Arts Academies. And with us today, we have our NVAA Coordinator and the dance teacher at Shadow Mountain, Leanne Slater. Hi, welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
So for someone who's not aware of what NVAA is, give us an overview.
Yeah. So the North Valley Arts Academies is a comprehensive accelerated arts program. It is offered K through 12. I specifically represent Shadow Mountain High School in the Honors Program. We offer 5 disciplines of study: dance, theater performance, theater technology, visual art, and music technology. We offer 5.0 opportunity for all of our students, so we're officially an honors course.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
That's a big deal.
We also offer dual enrollment courses, and 2 of our disciplines also offer a CTE pathway, and that's the music technology and the theater technology program.
So you talked a little bit about the honors program. This is a big deal. Explain, maybe a family coming into the high school experience, maybe they're not so familiar with what an honors program is or what it means for their student. Can you go into how that's impacting students?
Yeah. So our faculty is comprised of working professionals. Most of us have taught or currently teach in the higher ed space, and our courses are uniquely named and designed for the accelerated arts learner. Our courses also include a lot of creative agency. So we are working at the pre-professional level inside our study, and with the opportunity to create original work, that's where we really land in that honors space where students are learning to think critically, they're creating holistically, they're talking about their work, writing about their work, kind of synthesizing their own ideas, and that we don't see every day in our regular arts courses.
So you mentioned that this is for students K-12. Can you just give us a very brief snapshot at each level, what that might entail if you want to become involved in NVAA?
Yeah, so at the Desert Cove level, think of it as like a tasting menu. So our students are getting a taste of visual art and music making in the music technology program. They're on stage with the Shea dancers if they're in the dance program. Visual art, of course, part of everyone's learning over at Desert Cove. And then when they move on to Shea, they can choose a discipline to become really involved in, and that's where we really sink our hooks in there. And then when they come over to Shadow, they get to pursue their art form for 4 years. They participate in our Exit Portfolio course, which is our senior level course, which is a pathway to the Arizona State Seal of Arts Proficiency as well. So it's a whole comprehensive journey for our students.
And NVAA is certainly special to PVSchools because it's kind of considered a school within a school.
Yeah.
But what makes NVAA and this experience for students special to you?
It's so great that you asked me that. I just finished my show with my students, our dance show, Proposition. They are students who love their craft. They want to be there. They come to school for their craft. They are serious about what they want their capstones to be. They love their community. They want to be involved. They want to kind of cross-pollinate into other artistic disciplines. Some of them go on to pursue BAs or BFAs in dance. I had about 6 alumni come to the show, some of which are pursuing dance right now, that just come with a hug and say, I can't believe everything you taught us before, arriving to college. So the student is really excited about their arts learning and how it shapes them as people.
That's really impressive. And it's just so touching to hear that they're coming back, saying hi to you and wanting to still stay involved.
Yes.
To talk to our audience, if someone's watching, how do they get involved in NVAA? I'll say probably a little bit of the higher levels, because I'm assuming you have to sign up for classes and you might have to choose early. Is there an application process? What do you need to do?
So if you go to our website, our PVSchools website, you'll see our application. That application will trigger an email to the discipline-specific teacher, and that teacher will reach out and to the family. Some of our courses do require an audition video or a portfolio of work to make sure that the student's in the correct level. If they're coming from out of district, which we have many come from out of district, they will need to also apply for open enrollment as well. And all of this is happening right now. We have plenty of space, so come on and join us.
Such a cool program, such a great way to kind of find your passion, hone it, to be career ready later on in a fine arts field, which I think is pretty awesome. For more information about the NVAA program or to find out more about this experience for your student, visit pvschools.net. Thank you so much, Leanne, for being part of the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, we talk about NVAA quite a bit, and probably one way that a lot of people experience NVAA is through their theater program. Have you ever been able to catch a show?
You know, I have done some of the behind the scenes stuff with Shadow Mountain, and it's very impressive. I think we did a segment a year ago with Dr. Reynolds where we went out and they had like a cool rotating stage. It was for Hadestown. Yeah. And I think the students built the stage. We got to go take a look at everything they do behind the scenes. It's beyond impressive. I did theater in high school, but I don't think it was even this advanced. So it's like I'm watching something professional.
What was going on at my high school was definitely not at the same caliber that we see here in PVSchools. It's obviously something to be proud of. And one person who's probably particularly proud of the theater program at Shadow Mountain High School, part of the NVAA program, is Mr. Joe Flowers.
Hello. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So you oversee the theater program at Shadow Mountain.
Yes.
Give us the elevator pitch. What's the experience like for students in your area of NVAA?
So our theater program is about, for me, it's not about teaching the kids to become professional actors. I'm one myself, and it's a hard road to head down. It's difficult, but what theater teaches you is the arts of collaboration, communication, and creativity. And those 3 C's for me are sort of the central process for what the kids learn, because by being in the theater program, you learn soft skills that you don't get in a typical academic class.
Right.
They learn things that they will bring with them throughout the rest of their lives. And even if they don't go into theater, I think, it's really important for me as a parent myself with my kids to think about my kids' whole experience, right? Who they hang out with, what activities do they do? Are they learning to be confident and speak for themselves and think on their feet? And these are things that theater teaches that you don't get other places. So for me, it's about teaching the kids how to work on long-term projects and do work that they wouldn't normally do.
Talk to us a little bit about some of the shows you've done over the past few years. You've been with Shadow Mountain for some time.
19 years.
19 years. That's very impressive.
Yep. I started the NVAA program. Where I was the only teacher that bought on when it was started. I don't know, 10 years ago, I think, perhaps, like that.
Okay.
So out of those 19 years, is it even possible to pick some of your favorite productions? Because you've been involved in quite a bit.
It's hard. I mean, it comes and goes. I think my favorite productions are productions where the students and the audience walk away saying, wow, I learned something more about myself, right? We can go to see a Marvel movie and you're entertained and you eat the popcorn and Thor wins and then you go away and you're done, right? I like art that asks questions about ourselves. Crucible has been a favorite of mine that we've done a couple of times. It's a standard text that we read. Questions about conformity and when do you not go along with the crowd? We just did Hadestown, which is a beautiful show. It was a Tony Award winner. We won Best Musical in the state at the sort of high school level Tonys
congrats.
at ASU Gamage. Thank you. And that was a beautiful show about fate and are we fated to repeat our mistakes? And do we need to struggle through pain? Is pain part of the human process? So for me, Hadestown was beautiful. We just did Chicago. That was tons of fun. Chicago, I'm going to talk about that for a second. 50-year-old show. It's the 50th anniversary this year. It was written in 1975 about gangsters in the 1920s. So it's a 100-year-old story. And it's a story about do we let celebrities, are the rules for celebrities different than for us, for the common people, right? It's interesting that question has been being asked for the last 100 years, and it's still relevant today.
It really
And
is.
so that was really fun. So we took it and we flipped it on its head, because you've probably seen the 96 movie with Richard Gere and Catherine Zeta-Jones or Renee Zellweger. We flipped it on its head and made it into a circus. In the script, Billy Flynn talks about the circus of the media circus. And so we made it a traveling circus show to give us something to latch onto, because we use student designers for the whole process. They design the set, the costumes, everything, and we take their input. So that gave them something more to work with. And it gives the actors something fun to play with. So
a big part of a show is obviously the story.
Yeah.
But when audiences are sitting there and watching amazing performances from students, they're also looking at a set, costuming. All of this stuff is top notch. Talk about what goes into preparing for a show beyond just picking the script.
That's a good question. You guys should have me on for a directing podcast sometime, because I could talk about this for hours. So I'll give you the shortened version if I can. So it starts out with myself or Mr. Hall, who's my technical director. We read through the script and we find what it is that makes the show sing, right? What is it that's important to it? If it's High School Musical, the musical, it's about having a good time and entertaining people. It's not a very deep piece of art necessarily. If it's The Crucible or Hadestown, it's something different. And so I look for that thing that sings to me. And for me as an artist and a teacher, I want to challenge myself, because if I'm challenging myself, the students see that and they react, right? If they see that the adults who are in this space are doing work and having to work through creative things and take creative ideas and either use them or toss them away, they have the ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to make the correct choice on the first try. I might have to make some choices and let go of them. So I work and read through the script and brainstorm. It's a constant process of waking up in the middle of the night with an idea. I write it down and go back to sleep. It's just kind of lives in you for a while. And then it's about how do we use all the tools we have, right? Like you said, it's costumes, lights, sound. If you watch a film, all those things are integrated into the film. Theater, it's the same way, but I have to figure out how to make it work on the big stage with everybody, right? How can I use lights to help focus? And so there's a whole bunch of things that go into it. So it's a long process, but I think it teaches the kids the idea, the creative process, right? I say to them, I don't have all the answers. Here's what I'm thinking. I mean, Ben, who's coming up next, will tell you, we had ideas that we tossed out, and we constantly are changing things. And I think giving the kids the freedom to see that you don't just make art and say, boom, that's it, I'm done. It's a process of trying things and letting them go. I think that helps the kids a lot.
And it's students that are all part of this too. You're not hiring people to come in and build the set.
No, I mean, I hire a costume designer to help mentor, because that's difficult.
Sure.
And she designs some of the costumes, and then the students design the rest, but they work with her. But yeah, the students do it all. And the other thing that's neat about our program that I'm kind of insistent on is that during the show itself, it's student run. There's a stage manager in the booth running the show. And, this is a stage manager who's 16 years old running a Broadway caliber Chicago with 250 light cues, 30 actors, tons of scene changes, and they can do it top to bottom flawlessly. So that's important to me too, that during the actual show, I can sit and watch and the kids run it. They have ownership over it, which makes it mean a lot to them.
And I really love that, because they can put that on future applications, resumes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great that you let them do that. Thank you for everything. That's really impressive. We really appreciate how you get into the art of it and you just go so deep into it. It makes the shows even more special.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
It's fun. The kids are great.
Yeah, thank you for being on the podcast today. For more information about this specific journey of excellence, schedule a tour for Shadow Mountain or specifically the NVAA program. This is such a great way to find your passion in fine arts and kind of test it out before you jump into the next chapter of your life beyond high school.
Well, yeah, and I think what I like about it is there's a role for every student. You don't have to necessarily be center stage in acting. You can do behind the scenes. You can help out, like you said, with lighting, anything from costume design, set design. So that's really impressive. And speaking of students, we do have our next guest with us today. He's a senior at Shadow Mountain. He's heavily involved in NVAA, and this is Ben Trujillo. Hi, Ben. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for being on the podcast. You're obviously part of the NVAA program. Can you tell us about your experience? In a nutshell, what's it been like being part of this unique opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, being in NVAA has been some of the most fun I've had at school in general. When it's, when we're getting lots of homework and getting lots of things going on, I think those NVAA classes and theater in general are always like something that pulls me to school, makes it like, hey, at least we got a fun theater class we get to go to. NVAA has just taught me a lot about myself and about how, I mean, Flowers was saying how it teaches like soft skills that you can't really get from like a math class. It's like more than that, right? It's about, you know, who you are and about, you know, communication and about your relationships with other people. And taking this class has helped me really tap into that kind of part of myself. So it's been great.
So talk about your journey a little bit. Did you start at Desert Cove and go through Shea, and now you're at Shadow? Talk to us about how you started and how long you've been doing this.
Yeah, so I started NVAA in middle school at Shea in 7th grade. I had went to elementary school at Mercury Mine, so it wasn't offered to me. But yeah, the first chance I had to be a part of NVAA, I mean, I took it right away. 7th grade. Which was during the pandemic, which was really weird. But even during, that on the Zoom calls, I mean, having that theater class was just, it was a chance to get to talk to people during a time when we couldn't really do all that. And so that was really great. And then, 7th grade, 8th grade, and then I've been doing it since freshman year. I've been a part of all the musicals that we've done at Shadow, and all of the plays that we do as well in the spring. So it's been so much fun. Yeah.
So same question, probably also equally as hard for you, but you've been part of many performances. Is it hard to pick a favorite?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've thought a little bit about every time we close a show, I think I kind of reflect on it. Mr. Flowers has us do an assignment where we, reflect on it and he can read our feedback and stuff. And I think Hadestown was just really, really awesome. That was last year. And we won Best Musical for that. It was just such a magical artistic experience that I don't think anybody can really get other than at NVAA, other than at Shadow Mountain. As kids, just all of us together working on a piece of art so powerful. And we all had such a message we were all trying to say. It was so locked in. It was so great. Yeah, and in Chicago, which we just closed, was really, really fun. I played Billy Flynn.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was super fun. Got to do lots of singing and whatever, but so being a lead was really cool. But I mean, also being in the ensemble for, my 3 years before that in the musicals was so much fun. It's such a good community in those shows. And I really, really value that.
Talking about community, sorry, Sarah.
No, go for it. Yeah.
Knowing all the work that goes into a production and how long you've been in the program, I would imagine you're making lifelong friends and building lifelong relationships. Talk a little bit about, from that aspect, maybe how this has impacted your high school career.
Yeah, I mean, coming in freshman year, I wasn't super social. I didn't have too many friends. And I remember going into Footloose was my freshman musical, 2022. But I went in and I didn't really know anybody. And by the end of the year, at our little banquet that we have for drama club at the end of the year, everybody at all the tables, I knew them and they were all friends. And now here at the end of it all, as a senior, I can look around. We do this thing called Senior Circle before our final show of the musical, where we all stand in a circle and the seniors they hold this candle and they say some things that they'd like to leave out before their final show to the underclassmen and stuff. And I remember as a freshman seeing that and my seniors do that, and I didn't really know them very well, but it was still sad. But then now here, I'm the senior, I'm saying stuff, and I look around and every single one of them is a close friend of mine,
Oh, wow.
And I think doing these shows, being a part of NVAA, you get such a good community, and all my closest friends are in NVAA, whether they be in theater or they be in, I have a lot of friends in the music tech strand, in the NVAA art. My twin sister, she does NVAA art. So really just as a community, I mean, it's so great having that class together every year.
I want to ask you about, you talked about Senior Circle, but I know that kind of being in theater, there's always kind of superstitions that go with it.
Yeah.
For age appropriate and for our audience, do you have any good stories or just one quick funny story you can share, or a weird superstition, but again, that's appropriate?
Yeah, one time during Hadestown, so I don't know if you guys are aware of, so when you're in a theater, you're not supposed to say Macbeth, because as a show, Macbeth is just associated with a lot of, like bad mojo, I guess.
Yes.
And so in Hadestown at one point, since we were going to do a production of Macbeth later in that year, as one of our kids' capstones for NVAA, and one of us were talking about it, and they said Macbeth, and we were all like, "Oh no, you just said Macbeth, and we're in the theater now. We're done for." And literally, I want to say like 2 minutes later, the fire alarm goes off in the middle of rehearsal, and we all have to walk outside, and we're all like, "Dude, that was you." So it was really funny, and it's just crazy. So I mean, the superstitions, they're real. It's crazy, and even this most recent time, again with the Macbeth thing, opening night of Chicago, there was a kid who said Macbeth. I don't know why, but they said Macbeth, and then we go out on stage and the music does not play at all. And we're like, what is going on? And it turns out somehow the cord to the speakers got unplugged or something, and we had to restart the show. But it's just funny that it happened twice where someone said Macbeth.
Well, now I feel guilty we shared
then-
this. Sorry, Mr. Flowers. Now you're going to have students dropping in left and right saying it to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being part of the podcast today,
Of course.
and part of NVAA. And as you mentioned, kind of being a mentor to incoming students, helping them feel more part of the program, which is a huge part of the overall high school experience. So thank you so much for being on today's
Yeah, thank you.
podcast.
Yeah, of course. It was fun.
So if you've learned anything today, NVAA program is pretty awesome. Definitely check out the experience that students can have at Shadow Mountain High School. And just to be safe, remove Macbeth from your vocabulary.
Yes, good idea.
With that, Sarah, that's been today's podcast. For more information on the many journeys of excellence, visit pvschools.net.
You can also find PV Schools on social media by searching at PV Schools. Make sure to support student success by liking, commenting, and sharing.
And as always, support the pod by rating us on Apple and Spotify and sharing new episodes on the social media platform of your choice. Bye.
Bye.